Ohio police sued by the family of a black teen fatally shot by a cop. This is a very sad story. Put it up full mass. I'm taking you to November of 2024. 15-year-old Jazmir Tucker was gunned down by an officer armed with a rifle outside of Miller South School for the Visual and Performing Arts. Authorities say that just after 11 p.m. on November 28th, two officers parked in their patrol unit at East Avenue and Vernon Odom Boulevard heard gunshots. Those officers exited their squad car, started searching the area, and encountered the 15-year-old Mr. Tucker, who was, quote, walking from the area where the shots were heard, end quote. That's according to the Akron Fraternal Order of Police. The officers started running after him, and one fired his long gun, striking Tucker. 1 year later, Jazmir Tucker's family has filed a federal lawsuit against that local police department and the city officials that govern them. A reminder of the details. So police, they released the body cam footage of the shooting, but portions of the video are hard to make out since the camera is obstructed by a view of one officer's rifle. Viewers are unable to see what Tucker was doing before he was shot. The first 30 seconds of the video, which show the moment the cop pulled the trigger, also lack audio, so it's difficult to determine the number of shots fired at the 15-year-old. Sound is absent from the beginning of the video because of a feature that excludes audio when officers first activate their cameras. The footage does show multiple officers at the scene, some with their guns raised, and when audio finally filters through, viewers can hear the moments when they start shouting, quote, put your hands out to your side after Tucker was already shot. Several minutes passed before all the officers approached a wounded 15-year-old child named Tucker, who was laying face down on the ground and administered medical aid. Footage shows one cop handcuff the teen, then unzip the teen's jacket pocket where he finds a handgun. Tucker was later pronounced dead at a local hospital. During a press conference, the local police chief, Brian Harding, did not provide the straight answers the community was hoping for, stating he doesn't have all the facts just yet. Harding said that he doesn't yet know why the officer fired at Tucker, how many times Tucker was shot, or whether officers gave the teen any commands before shots were fired. It's also unclear why it took so long for officers at the scene to render medical aid after the shooting. I got more, but I want you to understand the narrative so far. The narrative so far. You have a teen who's running away. You have a cop who decides to shoot, maybe more than one time. The mayor cannot get straight answers from his own police department. This is not about a kid who may have had a gun in his possession. This is about a potential murder of a 15-year-old who never posed a threat to the police. That is what this is about. Did you have an active threat against you? If you did not, you committed murder. It's real simple. It's real simple. You don't get to kill people and find a prize later. We don't know if you planted it or not. You don't get to do that, and it doesn't matter if you're not in danger yourself, because that's the law. You do not get to be judge, jury, and executioner. That is not democracy. There's more. Almost 1 year later, the family of Jazmir, they have now filed a lawsuit against the police department, against the city officials that govern them, almost a year later, after the teen was fatally shot by the police. The federal civil rights lawsuit was filed on Monday. On Tuesday, the family held a press conference telling media the lawsuit is not about damages only, but systemic reform. Quote, this family is here because they refuse to let Jazmir's name be another headline in the paper. They're demanding accountability, not only for Jazmir, but protection for the next child that encounters police in this city, said a family attorney, Robert Gresham. Earlier this month, a Summit County jury issued a no bill in the case, meaning they could not find sufficient evidence to pursue criminal charges against the police officers involved in the 15-year-old's death on Thanksgiving night 2024. Tucker was shot and killed by police officers while they were investigating the sound of gunshots on East Avenue. An autopsy revealed in January that the teen was actually shot 3 times. An investigation revealed that the officers did not activate their body-worn cameras when they first got out of their patrol vehicles, which is required by policy. As I have said before, if you do not enforce the rule of activating a body cam for a cop, if you don't enforce that rule, your infraction or the infraction is only as strong as the enforcement. So they will continue to operate in a way that voids the policy requirement for having the body cam in the first place. And if you're on the up and up, the body camera frees the cop. It doesn't restrict the cop. It liberates the cop. But if you're not on the up and up, you don't want cameras present while you're shooting 15-year-olds. Tucker was shot and killed by the police. Investigators also said a semi-automatic handgun with an extended magazine was found in Tucker's zipped up jacket pocket. Fox 8 News previously reported this, quote, "The complaint alleges unconstitutional use of force and municipal liability for training and oversight failures, among other claims." The Cochran firm wrote in an email on Monday night. The lawsuit naming the city, naming the mayor, Shamas Malik, and the chief, Brian Harding, and the police officers alleges the city, quote, "maintained a training program heavily focused on firearms and tactical operations while offering minimal de-escalation, juvenile encounter, or use of force refresher training," the law firm said. It also claimed that the city has a pattern and practice of deadly force against residents who present no immediate threat to officers. Once again, they are trying to create reform for the police department. That's why the allegation seeks to address the training or lack thereof. The suit seeks a comprehensive reform of the police department's training and supervision tactics. According to a family attorney, the lawsuit calls for change, including mandatory de-escalation and constitutional use of force training for officers, clear restrictions on rifle deployment and foot pursuits, as well as discipline for officers who fail to activate their cameras. This is a credible, reputable, needed, and noble lawsuit. This is the kind of lawsuit that transforms the training narrative, thus transforming the way police interact with community. Everybody in that community should stand behind this lawsuit, even if you disagree with who's at fault. Even if you agree with the cops 9 times out of 10 or 10 out of 10, you should stand behind this lawsuit, and here's why. Look at what the lawsuit is seeking. The lawsuit is seeking for better trained police officers to serve you. That's a good day, no matter why that came to the desk of the chief. Please support this lawsuit, not only for the sake of this child who is no longer with us, but for the sake of the community that you still live and operate in, and the community that your children will have to live and operate in. All right. Sharon, thoughts?
He should be here. Okay, that's number one. Prayers to this family. The other thing is, this is so easy to support. You're right. Do you know that when you go to the bank and you make even the simplest transaction, you can't go back and say, "Oh, you shorted me. It said $5 and you only gave me 4." Do you know why that is? Because every employee is under surveillance to protect the bank.
That's right.
And I guess the customer. It's that simple. They put your money, if it's a large transaction, in that machine, it counts it right in front of you. And even if you didn't see it, even if you looked away, they got it, baby. The footage lives. The bank's not going to be shorted. Trust me, they're going to get their money. Protecting life? Why can't cops be under surveillance, but the bank teller can? How come McDonald's, you go through the drive-thru at McDonald's or you work the cashier at McDonald's, guess what? Smile, you're on camera. But the cops carrying weapons and stuff and can order you about, you're not automatically on camera. You get to turn yours on and off if you got one at all. Miss me with all that. This is so ignorant. He should be here. Another child should be here.
Yeah, and remember all of the evidence that would have been present. If he fired at the cops, where's the gunpowder residue in his hands? If he fired at the cops, where are the empty shells located near the body? If he drew down on the cops, why did they have to unzip his heavy coat in order to find the weapon? Potentially, he fired a gun in the air. Potentially. That is not an offense that leads to death. And definitely not an offense that would justify shooting a child because they are running away while you are investigating a random shooting that you have not seen. So granted, this is one of the most unfortunate things that we could ever cover on Indisputable. These officers, they have been deemed no bail worthy. They don't get indicted. They don't get indicted. Why? Because the prosecutor probably really didn't want them indicted. That's probably why. Okay? But here's what's clear. While the mayor said they can't get to the bottom of it, it's your police department, sir. Which means you can't get to the bottom of it. You can't get an answer. Well, somebody needs to be fired because that's why you have a chief of police in order to get the answers that are required. You are the elected official accountable to the community at large. I give a lot of respect to this family for doing what needed to be done and not allowing this young 15-year-old to be another headline, as they said, but making sure that it creates lasting reform to protect not only themselves and that community, but everybody else who lives there.